SummerSlam.
It's gonna.
In a hour, do some archbishop. Been a school them from when me in a car shop. Liverpool couldn't test the way me raw sit up. Quick draw, him drop and can't get up. Him not fast enough for my problem that you never solve. Send for the Dan brace for a firestorm, cause I turn into a monster. Ready for the war, better with your black. None of them boy, they no bad. None of them boy, they no bad. Bad ones in my hour, do some archbishop. Them no bad. School them from me in a carkish. Them no bad. School couldn't test it with me rassy. Drop enough and can't meet up. No fast enough for my Bible that you never saw. Send for the brand race for your firestorm, cause I turn into a monster. Ready for the war, better with your fuck. None of them boy, they no bad. Left a mark, young gog on a regular. We say them hardly ready. Them a new type of artillery. We a bus and a Tom and Jerry. Out the blue I hit you with an airstrike. They not bad like my air nights. It's a weird sight, yeah. Steady aim with precision. Make the vision with a clear sight. Better go get your affairs right. Them boy, they no none of them boy, they no bad. Road back, live with my bar. If you mark, them no bad. On the regular, we see them hard, them no bad. Me a new type of artillery. Me a bust, and a Tom and Jerry. All the blue, you with the airstrike, they no bad. Me air and they no bad, clear sight. Steady aim, they no bad. And it's the vision, we got clear sight. Better get your fit, them boy, they no bad.
Welcome back to the IBRP, the Indy Boys Racing Podcast, number one racing podcast in the world. Maybe for you guys. For us, at least, it's the number one racing podcast in the world. My name is Tristan Greider, joined with my incredible co-hosts, Daniel Chaney and Justin Cox. Man, we have an incredible episode. We're coming off one of the better IndyCar races I think maybe the best IndyCar race I've ever watched, and a kind of mid NASCAR race,
bro,
and a long F1 race. Like, listen, K-Mag, as much as I love you, man, I wanted to go to bed. It was 2:30 in the morning. Maybe actually it might have been 3 because we had a couple red flags before that.
Yeah, it was about 3:30ish if I remember correctly, because I was up until probably 5 that morning anyway, because for me over the weekend, I mean, I just jump in here, but like my power went out over the weekend because of the storms and stuff that came through central Indiana.
By the way, terrible storms in Indiana, by the way.
Bad.
And my power was out for basically most of the weekend, and so I was at my cousin's house at 3 a.m. in the morning watching the F1 race. So
yeah,
but no, that was pretty fun. Yeah, that was crazy. As you
Yeah.
can see in the YouTube title, it's Annihilation in Australia. So I have
Yeah.
to agree. I have to agree
We'll
with that
talk.
term.
We'll talk all about the 3 red flags we had
Four
in the F1
technically.
race.
Four technically.
Technically 4, yes, because the last one.
Yeah.
We'll talk about the best IndyCar race ever. We will talk.
One could argue. One could argue.
One could argue. I will give it a 95%. If it made it to the end,
Shoot,
the best
I would say
IndyCar race ever.
98. I would say 98.
I would say 98. If it made it to the end, I give it the last 2 points in my
That's true.
opinion. So.
That's
but,
true.
Yeah, let's get into that
And-
later.
Yeah, let's get into that later. And we'll talk all about NASCAR. We had 2 first-time winners this weekend, which is super awesome. But first, I just want to say what's up to you guys. Jay, how are we doing today, brother? I haven't seen you in a week.
Yeah, today I'm all right, I think. Just, I got off work early again, so that was great. That was great. I got to come home, do some homework, and then I got all the stuff finished up, all the graphics and stuff finished up for the potty tonight, you know what I'm saying? Not the
potty?
Not the potty, the podcast, you know what I'm saying? Potty, the potty.
Bro, I graphics my toilet. That thing is custom.
I wrapped it in a McLaren wrap.
It's wrapped. I wrapped that stuff with toilet paper. It's the Red Bull.
It's
Even
the
the handle has sponsors on it.
Yeah. I wrapped it in toilet paper because it's the. You can fill in the blank.
In the words of who says that? It's an S box. Who's the person that always says it's an Xbox?
I can't remember. I don't know.
I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, that's pretty much with me. I'm all right today. Daniel, how are you doing, my guy?
Yeah, David Malukas, how you doing over there?
Hey, bro.
For real.
Hey, bro. IndyCar was back. Y'all know I was good. Y'all know I was good. IndyCar was back, and holy crap, what a freaking race.
Yeah.
We'll talk more about it later. I know we've already alluded to it about 5 billion times, but that just shows how good this race was. And I think the IndyCar race being so good was like the only thing that kept me going this weekend.
Yeah.
Because crap was hitting the fan.
And
But besides that,
Yeah, technically we're repping the drivers of the weekend because
that's true.
Sergio Perez won driver of the day for F1, and our very own boy David Malukas won driver of the day for IndyCar.
Dude, he was fighting with the
So-
big boys.
He
Fighting with
was.
the big boys.
I forget what
Makes a grown man
I
cry.
always forget what the driver of the day award is for IndyCar, but I did see that David won driver of the day.
I'm trying to remember who got the most, like, because I know now they're giving out like an award for the
Most
highest
passes.
advanced.
That was
But yeah,
that was,
like
most passes of the weekend was Pato. He had
Was-
90. He had 93.
Okay.
I
overtakes.
bet he was.
no,
He
well,
lapped
not
the whole
that. It was like
field.
that's not the award that
highest
they're
to
giving out.
lowest?
Like yeah, like most
Most
advanced. I'm trying to remember. who it
I'd have to
was.
check.
I'll look for it. I'll look for it.
Oh yeah, I don't know.
But
Tristan, how you doing?
We'll do
buddy?
some mid pod research. Like
You know,
we
I'm
always
doing
do.
okay. I'm doing okay. I've been repping my 18 hat for the last couple days. Proud of my boy. P4, second highest finish of his career.
Oh yeah.
Repping Grosjean because I just felt like repping Grosjean. Plus, this shirt is pretty. It's one of my go-to shirts. I like this shirt a lot.
Yeah. I like the logo on the sleeve.
Yeah, it's pretty tight, right? All the Andretti shirts last season had this, and so there you can still get this shirt, guys. IndyCar.com/store. Just saying. But yeah, I'm doing well.
I have it.
He has it.
The biggest mover of the day. That's the award.
Okay.
It went to Renus VK from going from P26 to P11.
Okay.
That's great. I'm
They're
surprised
giving out a
Harvey.
trophy. They're giving out a trophy now.
Oh
I'm
shit.
surprised Harvey didn't get that because Harvey finished 13th, I believe.
Where do you start last?
Mm-hmm.
Dang.
Let's see. We'll do some more mid pod research.
Renus is the more PR guy to give it to, honestly.
Oh, definitely.
So
Let's see.
we'll excuse it for that.
Yeah, but otherwise, guys,
You got 18th. Harvey got
okay. Okay, never mind then. We got a full weekend, full episode of news. Let's go ahead and start with some motorsport media. Jay's going to talk about some formulas.
some formulas.
And not the kind you might think.
Yeah. So we're gonna start off this segment because I actually got April fooled with this very first one by Formula E. So I had this on my radar all weekend because like April Fool's was over the weekend or whatever, or before the weekend, I can't remember. And so I had this one on my radar all weekend because it actually seemed very believable. So this was the announcement. In partnership with Excel London, the ABB Formula E World Championship has unveiled plans to build the first ever underwater section of a racetrack for the 2023 Hankook London E-Prix, making it the most unique race in motorsports history. Which, in my opinion, that seems kind of realistic because I'm pretty sure London has some underwater tunnels and stuff already anyway.
That'd be fire. I'm not gonna cap that. Absolutely.
That's why I thought it was real. But I went ahead and I made the graphic for everything, and then because today I just went back to it today, and I was just reading the article to like check out a little more info about it and see like when the race and everything was. And at the end, it says in big bold letters like, "This is not actually real. This is an April Fool's joke." Da 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 da. And I was like, "Are you serious?" So
Did you see that on the Cup broadcast this week? I don't know if you guys follow Denny Delivers on Twitter. He posted on April Fool's Day Carl Edwards to run part-time starting at the Coca-Cola 600 for RFK Racing in the 60 car.
Yeah.
And and Mike Joy said it on the broadcast, and he's like, "Oh, by the way, April Fool's." It was funny. I was like, man's got.
That's why he was. That's why, because Denny Delivers.
Oh
was freaking out about
I
that.
did see that.
Okay, that makes sense now. I was wondering why he was like, "What the heck?" and whatever. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. Hey, Indy GP, they got that bridge. We can hold a bottle of water. We can make the Indy GP the first underwater race.
Okay, there it is.
Let's make history, boys.
We could just ask Debbie if we can go up there. It'll be fine.
Yeah, just start pouring water all over the bridge.
Pour it into a cup, and then it's underwater, technically.
Yeah.
Technically.
Shoot. But yeah, moving on to F3. I got April Fool's, guys, so yeah. Moving on to F3. Zach O'Sullivan wins the F3 sprint race after Canapinto gets DQ'd, and Gabriel Bortoleto wins the feature race. F2, the same kind of news. There hasn't really been a lot of like major news in F2 or F3 here recently. Ayumi Iwasa wins the F2 feature race in Melbourne, while Dennis Hauger takes the sprint race win. Now moving on to F1 news from the past week. Qualifying head-to-heads between the teammates after 3 rounds. This is going to be a little thing I'm going to start doing after every 3 rounds. So far, between the Aston Martins, Alonso's up 3-0. Russell is up 3-0 on Hamilton. Hülkenberg up 3-0 on Magnussen. Albon is up 3-0 on Sargent. Tsunoda's up 3-0 on De Vries. Verstappen is up 2-1 on Sergio. Leclerc 2-1 on Sainz. Ocon 2-1 on Gasly. Norris 2-1 Piastri, and Zhou 2-1 to Bottas. So very interesting. I just thought that was kind of a little cool little thing to throw into the
definitely.
But yeah, I'm gonna start doing that every like 3 rounds of the F1 season. So yeah.
Sounds good.
Next up, the Miami Grand Prix is working with Bank JP Morgan to potentially become the first Formula One race to pilot biometric-based payments to provide guests with a faster checkout experience, which basically includes like palm and face scanning identification. So yeah, I think that's kind of cool. I'm not familiar with things like that, so but yeah, I think that's kind of cool. Hopefully it actually does work, because maybe they'll start implementing at other events and stuff too, and so that way the line to get some get a blue moon isn't that long, you know what I'm saying? So but yeah, next up, the FIA has clarified the rules on pit stop procedures. I spelled pit stop wrong in the graphic.
Pie stop.
A pie stop.
A PEI.
So basically after it was Jeddah that Alonso was potentially going to get in trouble for the team member touching the car too soon while he was serving his penalty or whatever. And so the FIA went ahead and classified the rule on pit stops that any physical touching of the car or driver by hand, tools, or equipment will be considered work. So
did you see the thing where it was like Alonso said, "I'm gonna touch Hamilton's wing" on the radio during the red flag.
Yeah, that was
That made
funny.
me
I'm gonna go
laugh.
touch Hamilton's wing.
I'm gonna go touch Hamilton's wing.
See if he gets penalized. That'd be kind of crazy
Yeah.
if he did, though. Next up, kind of a shocking one that I've seen. Fastest pit stop is the people I've started getting my news from here, so shout out to them. Bridgestone is reportedly interested in becoming the official tire supplier for Formula One, challenging current supplier Pirelli, whose contract expires in 2024. The FI has opened up bids for the exclusive tire supplier from 2025 to 2027, with the option for an additional season in 2028. Liberty Media and the rights holders for Formula One are hoping for increased revenues, with two bidders potentially leading a better negotiating position. Interested parties have until mid-May to submit bids, with the decision expected by August. Bridgestone served as the tire supplier for Formula One until 2010, so they're trying to come back. So I think that's kind of cool. Next up, F1 sprint weekends are kind of about to get crazy here soon, because the proposed new format for sprint weekends are practice qualifying for Fridays, and that qualifying is going to be for the main race. Saturday is going to be qualifying for the sprint and then the sprint race. And then Sunday,
I like that. I
GP.
like that a lot better,
Yes,
because that way, because like last season, Sao Paulo, right?
Yeah.
That's the whole reason why K-Mag had that DNF, was because of he got the pole and then got pushed to like P9 because of the sprint.
Yeah.
So I like that a lot better.
Yeah. So, the Friday qualifying would most likely be a normal qualifying Q1, Q2, and Q3, but it's been kind of speculated that Saturday, qualifying for the sprint could be a one-shot sprint, which would be like, or a one-shot qualifying. So it'd be like, kind of like how NASCAR does their oval qualifying, basically.
Okay.
So, yeah, but just Formula One, basically. So
I like it.
I think that'd be kind of cool, though. So, yeah, so it'd be cool, I think. So I'm kind of excited.
I agree.
I think a lot of people were like, because they definitely talked about it a lot on the broadcast this weekend, how a lot of people are tired of the practices and such. And
I am
at least during the practice session.
You can have practices, right? They don't all have to be televised.
Oh, I watch them. I watch them no matter what.
Yeah, I mean, I watched two of the three this week, and like, it was fine, but like it wasn't like crazy. You know what I mean?
Checo kept them interesting though.
Checo did keep him interesting.
Just keeping people on their toes.
Who else went off? I believe it was De Vries, correct? Like De Vries went off.
A lot of people actually went off. I think in P1. FP1,
yeah.
I believe.
I saw a couple. Piastri, I think,
Magnussen,
well.
Hulkenberg.
Yeah.
I think De Vries probably went off maybe twice. I think Sargent had a spin in FP3, if I remember correctly, or it might have been qualifying. I can't remember which one it was.
Because he qualified. I don't remember him.
Yeah.
I don't know. Whatever.
But next up, Liberty Media and Dorna are looking at holding an F1 race and MotoGP race at the same as a support race to F1 on the same Grand Prix weekend. Chief of Dorna, Carmelo Espeleta, said, "It's something that crossed Stefano's in my mind, although at the moment it can't be done, but we are studying the possibility. However, it won't happen until at least 2027, since both F1 and MotoGP are tied down with their respective circuit contracts."
Ferrari, don't. Ferrari MotoGP, don't go to F1. Ferrari MotoGP, no.
Yeah. So, that'd be kind of sick. It would be cool to be able to check out MotoGP, because sometimes the F1 schedule honestly conflicts with the MotoGP schedule, so I don't ever necessarily get to watch MotoGP all that much, and it's kind of interesting because I do watch some of the highlights and stuff on YouTube a lot of the times, and I don't know, I want to check out MotoGP more. So once 2027 gets here, if this actually happens, I'll very much appreciate this. This name I have no idea how to pronounce, and that's for me.
Let's see what it is.
Zoltz Gayule. It's ZSOLT Gyulay. So I probably completely butchered that name. I apologize.
Yeah, I'm not gonna make an attempt.
Zsolc, president and CEO of the Hungaroring circuit, has confirmed at a press conference held at the Hungaroring today about the future of the track, and that the Hungarian Grand Prix is very close to a contract extension, which could repeatedly run until 2023. So Hungary, the Hungarian GP, is going to be around for a long time as well, such as others that have been extended in the past. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the formulas. Other than
that was a lot. I think that's the most Formula news, Jay, you've ever had. Man.
Last week, I think it was even longer. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Really?
Yeah,
I don't know.
We had a lot of news last week.
Yeah.
Last week, half of the episode was news. Let's not be
Yeah, pretty much.
Because guys, we like to like pull like obscure news, like kind of vibes of like stuff that you don't know is going on. Like we like talking about it. So like,
yeah,
that's pretty much why. But Daniel only has one thing, so I mean, it's not like
Dude, IndyCar, I feel like I only have 1 to 2 thing, maybe.
yeah.
If I have news, it's usually not very much.
Let's go to IndyCar.
But on the IndyCar side, we do have one bit of news, and I think it's pretty important news. I would say.
oh yeah, it's probably some of the biggest news of the year.
Yeah.
As there was
Will
speculations
Power-
of a certain guy going to a different team.
Will Power has announced that he has re-signed with Team Penske for a multi-year deal. With IndyCar contracts, as well as a lot of motorsports contracts, the details are never really said out loud. So it's expected that this deal is through the end of the 2025 season. It is worth noting, Will Power is 42 right now. So by the end of this contract, he'll be 44 or maybe 45. I don't know when his birthday is off the top of my head. So that is worth noting. It makes sense. It makes sense that he's re-signing because he did, just win the championship. So I'm not necessarily surprised by it, but as some of you guys might know, I've had my big theory for the past 2 years of what I thought was going to happen with Will Power. It's not happening. He's not leaving Penske. So what I wanted to see happen silly season-wise, not going to happen. But what do you guys think about Will Power re-signing?
Why would you leave the team you just won a championship?
Yeah, that's kind of my opinion.
Here's my thing. Like, Kevin Harvick is still eligible to win races in NASCAR. And so, like, I don't think he should retire because he's still winning races, right? Will Power is still winning races. He should not retire, right?
Right.
Like, Jeff Gordon, he was still winning races. He retired on top pretty much, fighting for a championship. Jimmy Johnson, he was no longer winning races. Dale Jr. was not winning races. He hadn't won a race for, I believe, 3 seasons. Tony Stewart, he got that one win at Sonoma, but otherwise he was not winning races. Greg Biffle hadn't won a race in years. Casey Kane, he was not winning races, right? So, like, drivers that we've seen retire in NASCAR over the past couple of seasons hadn't been winning races before they retired.
Yeah.
If we go to the IndyCar side of things, it's kind of similar, right? James Hinchcliffe, his last couple of seasons, he was a podium threat, right? But we didn't see Hinch, I believe, win a race for his final 3 seasons, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I believe his last win was 2018.
And that's the biggest retirement I can think of off the top of my head, besides, Tony Kanaan, who's going to be racing this season. We haven't seen TK, I don't think, win a race since the Indy 500. I don't know. It's been
probably like 2016,
maybe.
if I had to guess.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Sato, we haven't.
I'll do some mid-pod research.
Yeah, Sato. I mean, this is probably going to be Sato's last year. We haven't seen Sato win since 2020. So if I'm Will Power, I'm staying with Penske until I'm no longer winning races. That's just me. Yeah. So Jay,
His last one was 2014.
Yeah, so kind of near the 500 that year because he won the 500 in 2013. So, Jay, what do you think about Will Power?
I think it's smart. I mean, I don't blame him. I know how you just brought up the whole topic of like order drivers maybe not performing as well, but I mean, last year he performed just fine and was very consistent, and it ended up getting a championship. So I think honestly at this point, because he may not have the, let's per se like aggression, maybe like David or Lundgaard and like Callum have right now.
He doesn't have that Gen Z attitude.
he's got that experience. So
Yeah.
he's got that experience that he can rely on. That get him through certain situations and stuff. So
Yeah.
I mean,
He's got to
we'll
watch
see.
out for Dev.
Yeah, I think as long as we get through the season this year, after we see where he finishes, that'll kind of be a telltale sign of everything.
I agree.
But yeah, so I think it's smart though right now at least staying
Yeah,
with
I mean,
Penske.
currently after 2 weeks, he's 10th in points, but like we know Will Power's winning a race this year. It's not a matter of where, it's a matter of when. I feel like it's so
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a solid move. It makes a lot of sense. He knows what he's doing. I don't blame him for re-signing. I don't blame the team for re-signing him. He just won the championship. But my one thing is just be like, he just broke the record for most polls. I don't think there's really all that much left for him to keep accomplishing.
wins
but
record, bro. Go get Dixon.
He's not breaking that. I don't even know if Dixon will break it.
Yeah.
He's close.
But
he's close.
he is
He's really
close.
close.
Dixon's only 3 wins away, I believe,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
But I think Dixon's right at that point where he's kind of like these drivers that you just kind of mentioned though.
Dixon hasn't won since Nashville, so I mean,
did he win 3 races last season?
2.
Oh,
Was it just
did
2?
he? Bro, I thought he didn't even win last season. And
He won
he
Toronto.
won.
He's my favorite
won
IndyCar driver.
He won Toronto and Nashville.
Oh, he
last year.
did. Oh shoot.
Maybe it was just 2.
I'm
yeah.
dumb. Oh shoot. Okay. My bad. I brain farted on that.
I was gonna say it was like
Okay.
he's just not winning every week.
Yeah, like he
anymore.
used to. Yeah. Okay,
He's
my
not
fault.
2019, 2020 Dixon, where he was winning every single race.
Yeah.
My fault. I brain farted on that. Sorry.
No longer
good.
Target colors.
I miss that car. It's on the wall.
I
at
do
K1.
too.
Target car.
It's on the
I
wall.
do
at
too.
K1. Every time
It
I
is,
go
yeah.
to K1, I look at it. But yeah. So,
All right, that's all the IndyCar news. We
That's the
got
only
a
good IndyCar news I got.
lot of NASCAR. Okay, guys. So, NASCAR wise, we have a lot of one-offs because this week is the start of everyone's favorite weekend, Bristol Dirt, which means we have a lot of one-offs in the Truck Series. So let's read some of these off. So first, Tanner Carrick. He's going to make his Truck Series debut with On Point Motorsports. That's the team Ryan Vargas drives for in the 30 truck. He's a Truck Series dirt racer. Pretty cool. Speaking of a Truck Series dirt racer, Jonathan Davenport, that guy who Colleague tapped to drive in the Cup Series, he's going to race in the Truck Series as well for Spire Motorsports in that Bristol Dirt number, and that Spire Motorsports number 7. So hopefully he kind of gets some experience on the track before he goes in the Cup race. Next, speaking of Cup race drivers, Chase Briscoe, he's going to go to AM Racing in that number 22. That's the team that Austin Wayne Self owns. He's going to be in that truck for the Bristol Dirt. Then Jessica Friesen, she's going to be in her truck. So Halmar Friesen Racing, owned by Jessica Friesen and Stuart Friesen. She's going to run the 62. She is a dirt racer. You might remember her from last season when she flipped at Knoxville.
and nobody got video of it.
Nobody
got
saw
video
it.
of it. Yeah, nobody knows that. And Fox literally played footage of a random guy on Twitter that found it. Then
What the heck?
I don't know.
That was crazy.
I swear there's ghosts in my room. Okay. Next, Joey Logano, guys. Second straight year, he's going to run this race for the same truck. He's going to be back with ThorSport Racing and then number 66 for Bristol Dirt. And if you remember how he did last year, he was a threat to win it. So good luck to all of these Truck Series drivers at Bristol Dirt this weekend. A lot of one-offs. And hopefully we can see some good experience for Davenport, Briscoe, and Logano at this race. Logano's won this race before. A lot of people forget that.
Mm-hmm.
But he's good here. He won the first Bristol Dirt race. So
That's
we'll
true.
see. All right, Xfinity Series news. This one's just funny to me. Parking Guidance Systems is going to sponsor Josh Williams and Alex LeBay That's hilarious. Over the last couple of weeks, we've seen on social media that Josh Williams has taken this and has ran with it. He has tripled his social media following. He has released t-shirts that I tried to buy and it already sold out.
Dang.
He delivered pizzas because now he has a partnership with Papa John's. I don't know if you guys saw that, but he has like
yeah.
a little partnership with Papa John's and was delivering pizzas to all the people in the hauler that gave him pizza while he sat there for 3 hours. And Alex Abay gets a good sponsor, right? Because Alex Abay is a driver that doesn't have a whole lot of sponsorship, and we've kind of seen his get scaled back a little bit over the past couple seasons. And he's a good driver as well, so it's nice to see both these drivers get a sponsorship. Oh, yeah. And I just think it's funny. So Josh Williams, you're killing it, buddy. Next up, Dexter Stacy. You guys remember this guy? He ran a couple Xfinity Series races at the Super Speedways for MBM. He's back. He's going to run 66 at Dega. I don't think he'll necessarily be a threat, but last season I believe he finished in the top 20. So good luck, Stacy, on your one-off. Here we go. All right, we got a lot of Cup Series news, and there's a lot. Let's start with the first story. Richmond, okay. So if you guys haven't really been paying attention to numbers, I don't know how much you guys follow Adam Stern's reports on how the numbers are. Every single race this season, the viewership of all auto sports has been down. No matter if it's IndyCar, F1, NASCAR, all of the viewership has been.
Technically, the viewer of all sports has been down because the HUT levels are down as well.
That is true. But NASCAR has taken the biggest hit. This is the biggest down in numbers I've ever seen. Richmond's ratings are down 41% from the 2022 numbers. Now,
that's rough.
This is partly because this race was on Fox, which is non-cable television last season. This season it's on FS1. But even for FS1 viewership, comparing it to the 2021 season, it's down 13%. Yeah. So that's not good. That's actually quite terrible. Now, yes, Richmond is a boring track. However, it is most of the drivers' favorite track. So this track isn't going anywhere, right? Mm-hmm. They still are going to keep going here 2 times a year because it's every driver's favorite track. No matter, like, every driver I interview, it seems like they always say Richmond Raceway is their favorite track. Why? Because it's old, you can run multiple grooves, it's a short track, and it's fun to race on. It's why a lot of drivers like the old Atlanta, right? Richmond, Atlanta, North Wilkesboro, Charlotte. That's like a lot of drivers' favorite tracks just because they're fun to race on, right? And so, I mean, even Chandler Smith in his post-win interview said that this is his favorite track, right? So this isn't going anywhere. So Fox and NBC have to figure something out on how to get these numbers up for Richmond, because if not, then it might go away. And I don't want to see that. Next. Remember that super famous car that Ross Chastain ran around the Martinsville Speedway? It's back. Moose is going to be back. Moose Fraternity signs another 4-race deal with Trackhouse Racing and Ross Chastain. They will be featured on his car 4 more times throughout the season. So that is super, super cool. And it's Ross Chastain's fault. That's all I have to say. Speaking of Trackhouse Racing, the 2 more stories about them. First one's going to be about Project 91. There has been some rumors about who is going to be the next driver, and apparently it's already decided. Justin Marks appeared on SiriusXM NASCAR radio and said that the Project 91 driver has already been announced. And he said that this driver does not have a lot of experience racing in America. And this immediately made fans think of Australian supercars and think of F1. First driver I'm going to say is F1, Daniel Ricciardo. A lot of ties has been made between Daniel Ricciardo and NASCAR as of recently. He loves Texas. He was sad that he didn't get to race COTA in the Cup cars. He was said on interview with that. However, I don't think it's Ricciardo. I think it's SVG. I think it is Shane
My boy Shane Van
I think it is SVG. And because I don't think he's ever raced over here, if I'm not mistaken.
I think he's always been an Australian supercars guy.
Yeah. So when we head to the next road course, right, when we're going to Sonoma, I think Project 91 it's going to be SVG in that car. That's just
That's my guess too.
yeah.
I mean, in a way, I hope it's Daniel Ricciardo just because the F's one side of me. But I love Shane Van Gisbergen and watching like supercars. I hope it's Shane Van Gisbergen. I hope out of those two, I really hope it's Shane Van Gisbergen. So
Yeah, and that is the popular social media predictions as well.
yeah.
All right. Final Trackhouse Racing news. Daniel Suarez, this happened a couple weeks ago, but the penalty happened after we filmed the show. Suarez has been fined $50K after pit road contact with Alex Bowman and Ross Chastain on pit road at COTA. So NASCAR didn't like that. However, no points penalty has been given to Suarez, which is kind of crazy because Hamlin got a 25-point penalty and a $50K fine for his spin on Ross Chastain a few weeks back. And that I don't believe Hamlin appealed that penalty, but nothing happened with that. So Suarez out 50 Gs. All-Star Weekend news. Richard Petty and Darrell Waltrip are going to be co-Grand Marshals for All-Star Weekend.
That's so sick. That
is super cool.
I love this.
I love it too.
I hope that Darrell Waltrip is in the booth.
That'd be sick. I just want to hear boogity boogity boogity.
One more time.
North Wilkesboro. One more time.
And
Just one more time.
And not hear Clint Boyer's voice.
Just.
Can we hear it? Can we hear it? Say it.
Just boogity boogity boogity. Inject that into my veins. All right. Now the biggest news of the week, guys. Hendrick and Collins penalties the appeals have been heard. And the fines and suspensions have been upheld. The points have been completely restored, except the fines are going to stay, and the penalties to the crew chiefs are going to stay. So what does this mean? This means that Alex Bowman is back in the points lead. This means that that Larson and Byron are back in the playoffs. However, this also means that Fugel, Daniels, Harris, and Gustafson, the four crew chiefs of the four Hendrick cars, are still suspended until Martinsville, so they will not be at Bristol this weekend. But Bowman's the points leader, guys, and that's super cool because he has been the most consistent driver this season. Yeah. So yeah, that's what we got going on over here. Really controversial penalty. RFK Racing made some funny tweets about it, seeing as this same penalty happened to them last season with an 100-point penalty for the 6 team. But the main argument that was held by Hendrick is that they did not run a race with this. They only ran one practice session with these cars, and calling it the same one practice session, they did not run a race, a competitive race that was 4 points with this before they were caught.
I don't believe them.
I also do not believe them. And NASCAR voiced its opinion, saying that they were very disappointed with the appeals panel, because NASCAR doesn't control the appeals panel. It's the Motorsports Appeals Panel. It handles all penalties for IndyCar and for NASCAR and the American Autosports. And
it's like the FIA, but of America.
It's the FIA of America. The FIAA of America. You know what? That's a dodgeball reference. Thank you. The NASCAR said that we want to keep things fair, and Hendrick said, Rick, you know what I mean? But it's fine. So that's all the news, guys, we got for the NASCAR Cup Series, Xfinity Series, and Truck Series. Let's go into some race weekend. We're going to keep it over here. We're going to keep it at NASCAR.
We're going to review the Toyota Owners 400, buddy.
Yeah, the Toyota Owners 400. First, I have to talk about the weekend winners. Truck Series. Congratulations, Carson Hocevar. Finally getting into victory lane. First career Truck Series win for Hocevar. A little controversial.
But
we'll talk
at
about
what
that.
cost?
At what cost? Chandler Smith wins his first career Xfinity Series race. It was not a matter of where, it was a matter of when for Chandler Smith. And finally, Kyle Larson wins his first Cup Series race of the season after the dominating William Byron was spun out by by Christopher Bell. Sorry, forced to have it there.
He's a force of habit. If Ross Chastain is just in the general vicinity, it's just his fault.
That's what the memes have been. I don't know if you guys have seen the memes. These are the funniest things I have ever seen. There was one where it was literally, I don't know where it came from. It was a Target. It was a kid in Target getting rammed by a shopping cart, and then I was just scrolling just to like see some of the replies because it had a couple million views, and then the most highlighted tweet on it was Ross no, and it was just Ross.
That's
Chastain.
awesome.
It was so funny. I'll have to see if I can find that tweet. I'll send that to you guys.
Yeah.
But first, let's talk about the truck race. Hocevar wins. There was contact between the most dominating race I've ever seen by a driver and Nick Sanchez, who led, and here's the number for this. You guys are going to be amazed. 98.5% of laps in this one.
The last person to dominate a truck race like that was Kyle Busch, and he didn't even lead that much.
Yeah, like, that's insane. That might be the most dominating truck race ever without the win. But Sanchez, it's not a matter of where he's winning. It's a matter of in the next couple weeks. I think we see Sanchez in Rev Racing and Victory Lane. Daniel?
Dare I say it? He has that dog in him. He's got that dog. Before we started this show, me and Jay were talking about this race.
Yeah.
And I said, if you think about it, Nick Sanchez arguably could have you could argue he should have about 4 wins this season.
I'd agree with that.
I mean,
he almost won Atlanta, Texas, Daytona.
Daytona, he led up. It was just the rain and the strategy messed it up. COTA, he ran well. I think he's been
the best driver in the truck series this season almost.
Outside of Zane Smith, he's been probably the top guy.
Yeah.
Personally, I have him down for a couple wins, possibly in the next couple weeks. I'm just saying.
I might pick him like almost every other week, bro.
I think I'm about to too, because I do.
So we do have to talk about the contact between Sanchez and Smith coming to the white flag caused Sanchez to get loose, and then he was completely turned around after Hocevar got into the back of him. In my opinion, Hocevar had nowhere to go and was just trying to, keep his line, which if you watch the replays, social media had a different response. I'm just going to say, was the spin intentional? You can just give me a yes or no. For Hocevar.
I'm gonna go no, because Hocevar is trying to win the race. Sanchez got loose in front of him, and Hocevar is just keeping his foot in it to win the race. And Sanchez.
Hocevar, I believe, has had how many second place finishes in his first 2 years?
A lot.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy is literally the Dale Earnhardt of his career so far, of not being able to win the Daytona 500 except its races.
Yeah.
He's ran out of gas. He's got passed on the last lap. He's crashed on the last lap. Yeah. He's blown tires. He has had DNFs just for engine problems. He's had everything happen to him while he's leading. And
he is Ferrari.
That's great. I like that.
But I mean, Hocevar, he's got a couple Xfinity Series starts coming in the next couple races. I'm happy for him, and we know the guy. We've met him. Me and Daniel J. We've all met him a couple times.
You guys met him. I haven't.
That's right. We met him in IRP.
Yeah, because I didn't get.
I thought you met him at the
road course.
No, at the go-kart thing.
Oh, yeah.
I guess we did. We said hi. But yeah.
We didn't really stay and talk to him all that much, but yeah, we said what's up and stuff. So, yeah.
Okay. However, the biggest story, in my opinion, from this weekend, and the most important thing from this weekend, is Dean Thompson. This guy had one of the most horrific crashes I've seen in the last couple of seasons. Driver's side door smashed in, hit a couple times. He was carried out on a stretcher, but was released by the infield care center and the hospital, and is officially okay. These trucks are safe. That's all I gotta say. These trucks are safe. If you remember Bodine, Daytona in '99, the most horrific crash I've ever seen in a NASCAR. His life was saved by that. Mike Harmon in the trucks, right? Like these are all guys that have had terrible, terrible crashes and are okay. So it's really good to see that Thompson is okay, and hopefully he can be back in the truck this weekend at Bristol. He's still not cleared to race yet, but I'm sure social media will let us know what's going on with that number 5 in the next couple of days for Tricon Garage. But our thoughts and prayers are with the entire number 5 team and the Thompson family, and we're glad that Dean is okay. All right, Xfinity Series. All I gotta say, congrats Chandler Smith. That's really all I gotta say. I mean,
It was coming.
it was a dominating win, and congrats, man. Colleague back-to-back wins. That's all I got to say now. I mean, we were talking about the first couple weeks that it's colleagues kind of having a crap year, but back-to-back wins.
Excuse me.
Chandler Smith is now fighting with Sammy Smith and Nemechek and Hill for the championship. That's all I got to say.
Yeah.
All right, Richmond. Pretty boring race. All came down to the final restart because Christopher Bell wrecked William Byron. I'm going to keep doing it.
Ross Chastain, you're in my room! Ah!
Oh, no.
The chances of Ross Chastain crashing you are low, but they're never zero.
But they're never zero. He just crashed me in my room. Wait.
Ever zero.
All right. I'm
What?
sorry. I had to do
Hey,
it.
yo. What? But
What do you
yeah.
mean by that?
What do you mean by that, my man? But, you know, it was a good weekend of racing. Sorry, I had something happen to me. Good race. All came down to the final restart. Kyle Larson outdrives his teammate who was on older tires. That teammate, you might be thinking, you know, Alex Bowman, William Byron, you know, maybe he came back. No, it was Josh freaking Berry. And is like less than 10 career Cup Series starts. P freaking 2.
Mm-hmm.
Should Barry be a Cup Series regular in 2024? And if so, where?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's been one race so far. Like, what does his other stats look like so far since he's been racing?
This is his second top 10 with Hendrick this season.
I haven't really paid attention to him much since, like...
He's been consistently like 15th.
Okay.
Mm.
But still, P2, yes, it was strategy. It was a good strategy call. But he still was out driving guys that were on better tires those last couple laps. And,
Yeah.
I mean, I like Josh Berry. I've been a fan of him since 21, since he won those races. You know, I think he should be a Cup regular. That's just my opinion.
I think he should be. And I've got two potential.
All right, you'll go
potential
first, and
solutions
then we'll see if ours are the same.
Okay. I'll go easy way, easy answer. Put him in the 77.
Okay.
Like-
okay.
I know it's not a competitive ride. It's a ride. He's better than Ty Dillon. That's the easy answer.
I think I know.
My
the other one.
little, I don't know if this is maybe controversial. I
know
don't think
the
it's
other-
that controversial.
I already know.
I
what
know.
the other one
I
is.
know what it is.
What do you think?
The
Junior
10?
Motorsports.
Oh, I was gonna say the 10.
No, Junior Motorsports, no.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I want to say Colleague Racing,
In that 31.
31.
You think they'll boot Haley?
I don't think Haley's been bad, but I feel like he's just been kind of underwhelming.
I mean, you could always. Okay. Here's what I'm thinking. So, for me, it's one of two options. I think either Junior Motorsports gets a Cup Series thing because we saw the rumors that Jimmy Johnson and Junior almost started a Cup Series team before Jimmy went to a Legacy Motor Club. Legacy Motor Club could be a good start for him too. Seeing as Jones has had kind of a bad year. However, I think Jones is on a multi-year deal.
I believe so. And Gregson's not going anywhere.
No, he's not. And Junior Motorsports could obviously be an option, but for me, I don't think Junior would be that peeved if he went to Ford. Or seeing as Stuart Haas has actually been in rumors to be leaving Ford over the last couple seasons, I could see them going to a Chevy team, going back to Chevy. I think Josh Berry gets the 10 or the 4. Like that's Stuart Haas Racing seats because Harvick's out after the season. Almirola's contract is up after the season. You got 2 seats to fill. Priest and Briscoe aren't going anywhere. They're on multi-year
They
deals.
could downsize.
Could downsize, but I think Barry should go there because I don't think he should settle for and have his career waste away for the 77 car because we know why that 77 car exists.
Yeah.
It exists to get funding for the 7 car. And you can see it in the results because the results are graphically, astronomically different. So if I'm Josh Berry, I'm waiting for the right seat, kind of like how Justin Allgaier has always said. He's kind of just waiting for the right seat if he ever goes back to the Cup Series because he wants to be competitive. So I agree with him on that. Jay, where do you think he should be a Cup Series regular or no?
I don't know yet. I mean, until Chase comes
He's
back.
32. He's 32. So, I mean, a little late to go in the Cup Series, but
Yeah,
still.
probably not. Honestly, I don't know. I might have a different opinion here. It's not that I hate Josh Berry or nothing. I think it might be a little too late for him. I mean, like I said,
that's fair.
if Junior Motorsports does come to Cup, then I wouldn't be
Definitely.
surprised if he was the driver or anything.
Maybe him and Allgaier probably.
Yeah, if they ran two. But other than that, I don't necessarily see him maybe making it out of Xfinity, honestly. So
Okay. Kind of like his teammate, the next Justin Allgaier.
yeah, pretty much.
Okay, that's good to know. All right, let's go over the weekend's standings and the points. So the standing and the results and the standings. Thank
There you
you,
go.
Tristan. Your brain works every once in a while. All right, Truck Series. Let's read the top 10. Hocevar P1, Purdy P2, best finish of his career in the Truck Series. Friesen P3, Majeski P4, Jake Garcia P5, best finish of his career. Haley Deegan P6, best finish of her career. Corey Heim P7 and Ryan Vargas P8, best finish of his Truck Series career. Matches his career best finish across all NASCAR National Series. Jack Wood P9 with Ben Rhodes P10, and I just want to point this out. Mason Massey in P11. That is incredible, and in Rayum Brothers Racing equipment. That's just freaking sick. Okay. And point standings for the Truck Series. Ty Majeski is still the points leader after this weekend with Zane Smith, Ben Rhodes, Christian Eckes, Matt Crafton, Grant Enfinger, Chase Purdy, Corey Heim, Nick Sanchez, and Tyler Ankrum rounding out the top 10. Just outside the top 10 is Carson Hocevar, but he is locked in now with a win. Okie dokie. Now let's go to the Xfinity Series. Xfinity Series results. Chandler Smith won that one. John Henry Newmanchek was P2. Josh Berry P3. Kaz Gralla P4 with a sneaky top 5. And Cole Custer P5 with Sheldon Creed 6th. 7th was Ryan Sieg. 8th, Parker Kligerman continues a hot top 10 streak for PK. 9th, Austin Hill. And in his first Xfinity Series race, Derek Kraus brings it home P10. We all were kind of doubting him, but he brought it home P10. A couple of drivers I need to shout out. Alex Abay P11, solid race all day for him. Chris Hacker, this guy drove from 29th to 14th in RSS racing equipment. That is crazy. Congratulations, Chris. We love you. We're proud of you. And Ryan Ellis and Parker Retzloff, P15 and P16. Why are we hyped for Chris Hacker? Because he is an Indy boy.
Indy boy.
And finally, the standings for the Xfinity Series. Austin Hill still a point leader. Guess who's in second?
I haven't looked.
You might be surprised. You might not be, though, just because he's been consistent.
I don't know.
This weekend wasn't his best, but Riley Herbst is currently second in points.
Oh wow.
You know, that makes sense.
John Henry Newmanchek third, Chandler Smith fourth, Josh Berry fifth, 7th J.A., 7th is Creed, 8th Mayer, 9th Sammy, and 10th is Cole Custer.
Shimmy.
All right. Cup Series top 10. Kyle Larson P1, Josh Berry P2, highest finish of his Cup Series career. Ross Chastain third, but he just finished ahead of Christopher Bell. 5th is Kevin Harvick. 6th, a sneaky almost top 5 run from Michael McDowell. 7th is Joey Logano. 8th, Alex Bowman. His third 9th place finish in a row, Ty Gibbs, and then 10th, Brad Keselowski. Rounding out the top. Just outside the top 10 was Martin Truex and Chase Briscoe with a sneaky top 15 run from Todd Gilliland. And in his first career Cup Series start, Chandler Smith brings it home P17 in that number 13 car for Kaulig Racing. Standings for The Cup Series, Alex Bowman, your point leader, up 4 points on Ross Chastain, Christopher Bell, William Byron, Kevin Harvick, Kyle Larson, 6th. 7th is Joey Logano. 8th, Kyle Busch. 9th, Martin Truex Jr. 10th, Brad Keselowski. And then trickling down in the standings, Blaney, Hamlin, Reddick, Cindric, Briscoe, and Stenhouse currently rounded out the top 16 in drivers' points. That is all the NASCAR we got for today. I'm thinking we go talk about some of the results from IndyCar.
Should we save IndyCar
Should we save that for last?
Because IndyCar was definitely the best race this weekend. I kind of want to save it for last. I'm just
the guy who's talking here.
I love that me and Jay had the exact same. We were
yeah.
What you want? I don't care.
Let's save IndyCar for last. Let's do that.
F1.
I think IndyCar after this weekend deserves.
We'll do it at Albert.
All right, we're reviewing the 2023 Australian Grand Prix. So to start off, this race was kind of crazy.
Yeah.
It was a safety car and a red flag to begin, and then 2 red flags at the end of the race. And honestly, the racing wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be, because after the red flag for Albon and him bringing the gravel on the track, I honestly, because it kind of screwed the strategy up a lot, because everybody threw hard tires on and everything, and I was like, oh.
And it really screwed Russell.
Yeah, Russell was going. I mean, he was kind of clearly he was going to be screwed anyway. So
true.
But I just thought the race was just gonna start being stagnant and boring. But honestly, it wasn't that bad, and I think that fourth DRS zone added really helped compared to last year, in my opinion. Okay. So, I don't know. I just, once everybody got on the hard tires, I was like, okay, this is gonna be boring. There's no strategy play like there was supposed to be, and I was like, all right, this is gonna suck. I'm gonna watch it, of course, but like, it's just gonna be max wins and it's game over. So, but no, that really didn't happen. I thought the on-track product was pretty good. There was a lot of overtaking and such. Not necessarily for the lead, but there was a lot of battling in the mid-pack and such. And I thought it was pretty good. And Checo driving through the field was awesome as well. But at the end of the race is when things got crazy again. Kevin Magnussen hits the wall on lap 53 of 58, I believe, if I remember correctly.
And then the FIA was like, NASCAR overtime. I like that.
Yeah, for real. They said they pulled an IndyCar out of their pocket because IndyCar screwed with power like last year, the year before that. I can't remember, at Belle Isle, if I remember right. And then he couldn't get the car refired because it was like 2 to go.
That was 2 years ago. 2 years ago.
Yeah, that was crazy.
I recall.
That was and that was
picking up what you're putting down.
I forget who won that race. Wasn't it Ericsson that won that race?
It was Ericsson's first one.
Yeah.
Ericsson backed into it. I'm just kidding. Oh, you guys actually agreed with me. I thought you were gonna actually agree.
No.
You can argue.
Okay.
You can argue.
Sorry.
I mean, he was Ericsson in that race. So I mean,
no, that was Nashville.
That was Nashville.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah, you're good. But
the Ericsson fan gets it wrong.
But yeah, so after this restart, okay, let's go. After the restart, a lot of things happened. Carlos Sainz decided he was going to plow through his fellow Spaniard, Fernando Alonso. Logan Sargent said, "What the is a kilometer?" to Nick DeVries. and then who else? Oh, Esteban, the 2 Alpines decided that they were just going to throw each other into the wall. So
they thought it was the French Revolution over here. They were.
There you go. I like that.
Let them eat cake.
Let them slam wall. I don't know.
Yeah, but yeah. So pretty much all chaos broke loose on this restart.
Kind of sucked for Gasly because he was having a really good race.
Yeah. Also, I forgot to mention that Leclerc got spun on the very first lap. That's why we had the first safety car. So my first question for you guys is Ferrari ever going to have some luck go their way? Okay,
here's the thing about Sainz's penalty. Yes, it was a little harsh.
That was my next question.
Yeah, it was a little harsh. so just a bad weekend from Ferrari. Second straight race with like bad points finishing. The first race of the season where Ferrari has no drivers finishing points. Um, Leclerc continues to
DNFs.
struggle. Leclerc's second DNF. However, the start of last season, Max had 2 DNFs as well. However, Max also had a win. So like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? I don't want to. If I'm a Ferrari fan, which everyone's a little bit of Ferrari fan.
Yeah, for sure.
Don't keep your hopes up. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
I agree.
Don't get your hopes up.
I was gonna say, like, I think the bad luck will kind of eventually start to go away, but I don't think they're gonna come out and start winning every race. I still think they're probably gonna end the season as the 4th best team, which is
Okay.
that's really like you hate to see it because they were the 2nd best team last year, despite some
Arguably.
questionable decisions and bad finishes and bad luck. Unfortunately, it's just a thing that happens, and I think it might linger a little bit. It might go away. They might catch some luck, but I don't know. I don't think it's going to last forever, but I also know that Ferrari will Ferrari, so I don't want to bet on them turning everything around.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean,
I definitely think that they'll get a win this year. It's just like
I don't even think that'll happen, honestly.
okay.
I think if they
But-
do, it's like 1.
I think they might win Monaco this year. But
I mean,
like,
that would be about the only. Oh my god, I can't talk. That would
good?
be about
Ferrari
the
has me
only.
speechless.
Yeah, that would be about the only race I could see, and that's just because you can't pass it, Monaco. So, so,
But you
I don't
can't
know.
have engine failures.
hey,
But yeah,
who
so
was driver of the day? The guy who led.
oh, what the heck? Why did my screen just go black? Oh, there it goes. Okay. That was
Hello,
weird.
welcome back to the world, Jay.
Yeah. My top screen was fine. My bottom screen just went black randomly. Okay. But
Yeah.
sorry. Next question. I'm gonna say my opinion first. Was Carlos Sainz's penalty fair? Okay. In my opinion, I have a lot of a different. I kind of have the popular opinion on this because I agree with the popular opinion on this one. If we reset the racing lap and the results to the lap prior of when that happened, or before that happened, I don't think Carlos Sainz should have got a penalty because that technically doesn't mean that happened. Because
If anyone should have got a penalty, it should have been Verstappen for literally not being in the start zone.
no, he was.
Okay, I thought I saw on
So-
Twitter that he might.
No, I saw the same thing, and at first I was like, "Oh, what the heck? He's outside." But the only reason for Verstappen not getting the penalty is because how Esteban and Fernando were, their tire was outside of the box. It may have been touching the line, but the contact patch was outside of the line, so that's why they got the penalty. So Verstappen's contact patch wasn't outside of the line. That's why he didn't get a penalty. That's
Okay, that
fair
makes sense.
until he's outside of it. So.
That makes sense.
But that's my opinion. I think Carlos Sainz's penalty should not have happened in general because the lap got reset to the results before. So that's just my opinion. So, but I want to hear you guys.
Yeah, I mean, you give him a 5-second penalty and then you restart the lap. Come on. Like, you screwed the man's race. He was running 4th the entire race. It screwed him. It screwed his race. Obviously, he was mad. He ended up talking to the stewards. They didn't reverse it, or maybe they will reverse it. You never know. At this point, it's F1.
Yeah. It's probably too late, and they're not going to reverse it now. So
Yeah, but I mean, if I'm Carlos, I'm looking at Baku and just being like, hey, like, we'll see how it goes. I don't know.
4 weeks. 4 weeks for Baku.
4 weeks till Baku, 6 weeks till Miami. I mean,
Yeah, I definitely think is pretty unfair. I get penalizing him, but at the same time, like, especially going with like what Jay said, where like if it was the lap prior, you know, I just think it's, I don't know. I'm not an F1 race official. I'm not the one making the calls, but
But if I
I don't know.
was,
If I was, I probably wouldn't have
Well, if I
penalized
was,
him.
what the heck is a kilometer?
I don't know. I feel like the popular opinion is that he shouldn't have been penalized, and I feel like I agree with that. But then again, I wasn't watching every second of this race. I'm completely going off of highlights and social media, so maybe I don't know the full picture. But who knows?
right? Yeah, no, I get it. I definitely get it. But yeah, I don't know. It's just, I don't know. I just think it's dumb. Next question.
He just does not know.
Yeah. Some drivers are saying Red Bull is sandbagging to avoid the FIA changing regs to slow them down. Do either of you agree with that? Because once Verstappen got ahead of Hamilton towards like the middle portion of the race there, he had pulled about 10 seconds and then just kind of stayed stagnant there. And I think a lot of people took that as them sandbagging and slowing down on purpose, so that way they didn't build a gap or anything. But in my opinion, the reason Verstappen slowed down was because they were managing the race. They weren't trying to push every lap. You're not supposed to push every lap anyway, and build up the gap as far as you can and burn your tires out and everything. And so I think a lot of people were misconstruing the slowing of Red Bull. I think they got to where they felt they were comfortable with their gap and then just decided to just park it there and just manage the race and try to win. So that's my opinion. Do you guys think that Red Bull is sandbagging or not?
I mean, yeah. Like, come on. The Red Bull is so fast that they can just drive away. Like, Hamilton and Russell were visibly fast. Sorry, I was just a little bit laggy. Hamilton and Russell were so fast in the beginning before the red flag, and when Hamilton just got and when Verstappen got in front of Hamilton, it's like, okay, now I can start going fast, and he just gunned it. He hit 10 seconds, and then if you watched the race, he stayed at 10 seconds until K-Mag hit the wall. So I would agree with that, but I don't know. That's just my opinion.
Okay. Daniel?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, could they have been? Yeah, and if they are, like, it's not even necessarily cheating. I guess it's just playing with the rules. There's nothing against sandbagging if your car is too fast.
Yeah.
Because then, if anything, you're competing. I don't know. I doubt they are, at least completely, because people have to conserve tires. They have to conserve fuel. There are a lot of different factors you have to consider when you're leading a race or contending in a race, and it's just hard for me to go all conspiracy theory. They're sandbagging because they're just too fast and they're trying to make sure they don't get caught. They would, if they're gonna get caught, they're gonna get caught.
Yeah.
It's
not gonna be catering this time.
It never was. It never was. Let's be real.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, because a lot of people were kind of talking about that, and Max got asked that same question after the race, or by a reporter at some other point after the race, not necessarily like in the media conferences and such. But he said that like once they built their gap, they felt comfortable and started managing. And like the only reason they were managing is because you never know when a safety car happens. You never know when a red flag happens. And so they weren't trying to completely go and push the rest of the race, and all of a sudden they're dead on tires while Lewis and Alonso may not have been pushing as hard either and saving tires. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I personally think the gap for the Red Bull could have been a lot bigger, but I don't think Verstappen's tires would have been nearly as good to hold all them off on that final, like the final two restarts, I guess, technically. So, yeah, I don't know. That's my opinion, though. So, yeah, I thought that was interesting. Next, does this weekend show some improvements for Mercedes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
At the start of the race, I mean, at the lights out and away we go. Russell was clearly faster than Verstappen at the start. Hamilton easily overtaked him. And without that red flag, it might have been a little bit harder for without that safety car and that red flag, it might have been a little bit harder for Verstappen to pass them. He would have eventually, but it might have been a little bit harder for the overtake to occur.
Yeah.
But I mean, Hamilton visibly pleased after the race. Said it was the fastest car he's drove in since 2021. Which is great for Red Bull because which is great for Mercedes because I mean, a lot of people were expecting Mercedes to kind of stay around the 5th, 6th area for the next 5 weeks until the next break. So,
Yeah.
it's good to see. It's really good to see.
For sure.
Yeah, I think they're definitely improving, and I think that's a good thing. Because last season, what we kind of got to see was they were really just kind of at the beginning. They weren't awful. They weren't necessarily bad. They just weren't what they have been. And they ended up progressing into like a pretty solid team by the end of it. Obviously, did they win the last race, or was it one of the last few races?
Brazil
They won.
was when they won. So that
They
was
won.
Yeah.
Sao Paulo.
either second. I can't remember exactly.
It was the third to
Second or
last race.
Third, second or third.
Yeah,
to
it
last
was
race.
it was very close to the end.
Verstappen won the last 2 races, I believe.
And this season, I think they're gonna figure it out quicker than they have. Last season, they figured it out probably 2/3 into the season. Even then, figuring it out is in air quotes because they weren't really. All they had to do to figure it out was not be Ferrari.
Yeah.
Like, and I really don't think they've been all that bad this season. Sure, they're not getting podiums every week, but I think like that's really hard with how
Got now
competitive-
podiums 2 out of the 3 races. So
Yeah, I mean, well,
no, not really.
1.
Yeah.
Technically, I forgot Russell.
It was 1, and then it was 2, and then it was 1, and then it was 2,
and then it was 1, and then it was 2.
Russell's podium got reversed.
But
Again,
I think the progression they're having, you love to see it if you're a Mercedes fan, because I know you have to know that you have to go into every season now expecting not to be what you once were.
Yeah.
I think you should be hoping for second best team, preparing for probably third best, because last season it was Ferrari. This season so far it's been Aston Martin. I don't know. But I think if you're Mercedes, if you're a Mercedes fan, you're happy with where things seem to be heading because it's looking a lot better than it did last season.
Okay. I agree with actually both of you guys, so I'm not gonna say much more on it.
I saw a meme today where it was sorry, I just want to say this real quick. I saw a meme today when it was like Aston Martin how they were with Red Bull and then they made their own team, Haas how they were with Ferrari and then they made their own team, and it was Mercedes looking at Petronas just like
What's going on here?
What's going on, man?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Final question. So, kind of a controversial topic here at the end of the race. Should the red flag have happened at the end of the GP? Like, because it could have easily been safety card, but they decided to red flag it. And most believe that was for excitement, and which it definitely induced some excitement, of course.
It was obviously for excitement. It was it was NASCAR overtime.
Yeah.
F1.
Yeah.
That's what it was. Let's just say what it was.
Everyone said,
Everyone
said NASCAR, hold my beer.
Yeah, like, and Daniel, I'm sure you'll agree with me, but this was literally just a NASCAR overtime in F1, and
That's what I've seen.
and hilariously, the same results always happen.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's
So,
really, I feel like both of us. That's all we have to say about that, right?
Yeah.
He said, "Now watch this. Y'all saw COTA. I got one better."
Kimi Räikkönen taught the boys something. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think it should happen.
Luther Steiner came up to us and said, "Guys, you won't believe what I saw last weekend."
K-Mac,
Oh yeah,
listen,
Gunther was there.
K-Mac, listen, I need you to hit the wall so hard. And then Hulkenberg lost his engine freaking
After
while
the
they were
race.
running around after the race.
Yeah, and that's what brought out the 4th red flag. So technically, we had 5 all weekend because Checo had one in qualifying too. So
True.
yeah,
They can't keep getting away with this.
it's crazy. But yeah, I don't agree it should happen. It should end under safety car, in my opinion, or at least restarted under safety car. So yeah, pretty much. But that's all I have over here. For the formulas. Let's talk about the best race of the weekend now, and let's go to some IndyCar.
You already know what time it is. It's time for the race of the freaking year, baby! I won't even hesitate. If they top this, stop these madmen. Stop these
No,
madmen.
don't
If it gets
stop
any
them.
better.
Why would we
don't
stop
them, but, like, something's up. Because the
Something's
first
up.
race, banger. Second race, one of
Bang.
the best races I have seen. I would say maybe the best race I've seen that isn't called the Indy 500.
Yep, pretty much.
I think that's a very fair statement.
It's the best
This
race I've seen
race
since the 2016
had
Indy 500.
everything.
Maybe 2021 tops it.
Everything. This race was phenomenal from start to finish. You can say what you will about the ending. That doesn't tarnish it. This race had it all. I didn't even write notes because the entire time I was watching in awe. I was watching in awe.
Yeah.
I was
'Cause
like, this is cinema.
Final 75 laps. Me and Megan were watching this one. For viewers that don't know, Megan is my incredibly beautiful girlfriend. We were watching this one together, and Dave was kind of driving up through the field, so I was like kind of hyped for hype. Was quoted in saying that there is so much trust between these drivers. It's like,
Yeah.
I'm going to put my car here. You better give me space, or we will both wreck.
Yeah.
And we saw the best racing at Texas Motor Speedway ever.
Yeah, it was phenomenal. Jay, what do you have to say about this freaking
Dude.
spectacle?
Oh my god, dude.
All I have to say is ovals, am I right?
I was watching this with my friend Aiden, and his girlfriend was there.
And with Jay's girlfriend Aiden.
Jay's girlfriend,
Sorry, Jackie, you've been replaced.
Okay. But yeah, I was watching this with Aiden and his girlfriend, and she was kind of sick, so me and Aiden were kind of like, yeah, let's go. So, because we weren't trying to be like obnoxious, and so like, I think if she wasn't sick and she was like everything was fine, I think all three of us would have been yelling because she likes IndyCar too. But yeah, so I think all three of us probably would have been yelling and like, holy crap, like what's going on, like. Maybe using more explicit words, but but yeah.
Holy wow!
Wow!
Hooray!
But yeah, no, this is, I don't even know, because I started watching IndyCar again in 2018. I don't even know of a race since 2018 that I can compare it to, other than an Indy 500, honestly. Like,
I'd compare it possibly to Texas last year.
yeah,
It was better. It was better.
It was
10 million times better.
It was way better.
Yeah. So
yeah. So arguably, I mean, Texas was great last year and great finish last year. The racing, it made it.
it was kind of
That's
boring.
It was like this year was like a 10 out of 10. You can say what you will about the ending. This was the perfect race, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So Daniel, run us through a little recap, buddy.
Yeah. So I don't have notes. So take it for what you will. I'm going to look through the field.
That's good.
Remember all the chaos that happened because this thing was amazing. First thing off the top of my head, Alexander Rossi, Kyle Kirkwood. That was really the first incident that happened. For those of you that didn't watch the race, what are you doing if you didn't watch this race? You haven't gone back. You're silly. But for those who didn't get a chance to watch this race, Alexander Rossi was pitted and his team was working on his car. Kyle Kirkwood then started to pit from the fast lane, like the far right lane of the pit lane. And as he was merging into his pit lane, or like his stall, Alexander Rossi came out, his team let him go, and they ran into each other, which pretty much cost them both their entire race. Obviously, Rossi was able to complete the race, but he was laps down, not in contention. Yeah, and Kirkwood ended up having problems with, I believe, his right rear.
Yeah.
And it was pretty much all because of this incident. The interesting part about this incident was Rossi was pissed.
I bet.
And rightfully so. I mean, if your day gets screwed, you're going to be mad.
Very excited for
the entire NBC booth was saying, like, that's all on Kirkwood. It's all on Kirkwood's team. He needs to get, like, a penalty because that's unfair that Rossi's day is screwed. What ended up happening was the race officials deemed that Alexander Rossi got the penalty, because his team shouldn't have let him go. So my first question kind of goes into this situation. What are your thoughts? Who do you think's to blame? Because what I will preface this with saying that since the race ended, I don't know the specific rule in question, but Kyle Kirkwood came out and said that IndyCar informed him that like he was in the right, and that the rule basically wasn't what everybody thought it was. And since this, then like the NBC booth has apologized to Kyle Kirkwood for basically making him the bad guy, because he got a lot of hate mail basically about this. So with prefacing you guys that they did find out that like because of whatever the rule is actually written as, Kirkwood was in the right. What do you guys think about this?
That before you said that was going to be my argument, but you said it, so that's my opinion.
Mm.
I don't think he did. I didn't really think he did anything wrong in the first place, because if you looked at the pit sequence anyway, most people were kind of merging from the fast lane.
I mean, that stuff happens all the time in the Cup Series.
Literally.
All the time. And it ruins days, like
Yeah.
all the time. So for me, I don't feel like that should be a penalty for drivers.
Either driver shouldn't get a penalty in my opinion.
It's a racing incident. It happens. Like
Yeah, I think the anger and confusion is completely warranted, but I don't know. I feel like they kind of went a little too far with it, and it ended up screwing both drivers' days. So it didn't end up mattering all that much, at least to Kirkwood, because Kirkwood didn't get the penalty. His day was ruined. Maybe if it didn't happen, Rossi could have been in contention, but with what happened later, who knows? Because Pato O'Ward lapped everyone except for Joseph Newgarden. And even then, he only had about half the track to go on him.
Yeah. It was crazy.
Absolute masterclass on driving. I don't know what he ate before this race, what coffee he was drinking. He went out there with a mission.
I guess you could say he had that duck in him.
He had that duck in him. He was swimming through the competitors, absolutely lapping them. It was insane.
You wanted that bread.
I don't know if I've ever seen someone lap the field like that, and if they have, I've never seen it actually lead to good racing.
I mean, Hamilton lapped the field a couple seasons back, right?
He didn't lap the whole field,
but you could argue that this doesn't make for the most exciting racing. This made it more entertaining.
For some reason,
I don't know how. Yeah, I don't know why or how. Normally, that should not be.
He got past the 10, and then I was like, okay, now he has to get the 2, right? Like,
yeah.
Well, I think it's because of the broadcasters, though, because they're like, Pato O'Ward is on one today, like,
NBC IndyCar.
Okay, first, it's uncomparable. It's uncomparable. Because
going from a Fox NASCAR for 4 weeks to this, it's like
as much as I love,
I don't even have a comparison.
As much as I love Jamie Little, as much as I love Clint Boyer, it's
oh my god,
it's terrible.
Yeah,
it's bad.
It's so unbearable. It's so
terrible. And then it's like a breath of fresh air, because in NASCAR,
turning on the first practice and hearing "Welcome to Texas Motor Speedway," I'm like, oh my god, I'm heaven.
And you hear the theme song, but it's like you're watching a restart in the NASCAR race. Like they're just like Mike Joy's like, all right, let's go racing. There we are, racing.
Keyboard warriors.
Here we go. We're racing. Warriors. And then the entire time you're just hearing Lee Diffie, Townsend Bell, and James Simpson screaming. They're screaming, and Megan is watching this with me. She's like, I like IndyCar. And I'm like, I like IndyCar too, babe. And she's like, why is this so much better? And I'm like, because the announcers are incredible. Because like, that's like...
It's perfect.
Yeah, it's perfect. It's how everything should be. And
it's not until IndyCar figures out their marketing. That's what pisses me off.
It's getting better, though. It's getting better.
I agree.
But I think it's better. We're only 2 races in, so we don't fully know. But so far,
after
it's
the
been
results,
so good.
I think after the debut of the show, it's gonna get a lot more.
It's gonna grow.
Definitely. I think. I mean, it comes out in what, a week and a half now? 2 weeks?
Soon. Yeah. I don't think it'll double like every race.
Definitely not.
But
I think
there will be growth.
I think we'll see a 33% increase over the first 2 episodes, and then possibly like 15, maybe 10% after that.
I'm very intrigued to see where it goes because this season, if the past 2-3 seasons have
the
been
professional
classics,
PBR beat
NASCAR.
NASCAR this week. So like,
So crazy.
yeah,
Bull
like,
riding.
I think this season, if it keeps going as good as it has been, it will easily be the best IndyCar season ever.
oh yeah.
And arguably the best season of any motorsport ever.
Yeah.
Again, 2 races in, hard to say.
Whew, that was a good take there, Dan.
No, that was a
It's
really
looking
good.
good.
That's a hot take. That's a hot take.
No, that's a
It's
good
looking
take.
My good take. My good take is that David Maluka stays top 10 at points.
Well,
That's mine.
we'll get there. We'll get there. Right now, we're still talking about Powder Award lapping the entire field, but of course, it had to come to an end because all good things come to an end, except for this. I mean, this race, it came to an end. But of all the people to cause the yellow, to ruin this lapping sensation, it had to be Pato's bestie for the resty, Felix Rosenquist. Oh, I'm sure that hurt him. I'm sure that hurt him. He's like, oh.
running P3. I mean, you just get loose going into 3.
Dude,
Yeah,
Texas,
hit the wall.
Texas for him is, he always has terrible luck at Texas.
However, he's
For
so
whatever reason,
He always
does.
qualifies so well, and then
However,
something happens.
That crash breeded crashes, Dan.
Yeah.
The next couple.
Because coming up after that, I think, let's see, how many laps after that?
5 laps. After
No,
that,
not
10 laps.
5. It was like 31, it looks like. Stingray Rob had his accident. His car basically went all the way against the wall. He tried to just keep it there to stay out of everybody else's business, not getting any bigger wreck, hoping that the yellow would just come out. But the suspension snapped. When the suspension snaps, the wheel just goes loose. There's nothing he could do. He went all the way from the wall straight pretty much to the safer
Dang
barrier.
it, Ross
inside.
Chastain.
He can't keep getting away with this.
I'm glad Sting's okay though, because that was
it was a
hard,
vicious hit.
hard hit.
It was a vicious hit.
It sucks for Stingray because that's his second straight DNF.
No,
Well, I mean, he technically didn't finish.
he was on the lead lap, I think.
No, he finished 3 laps down because he went off the track and then they wouldn't let him back on. Last week, or in the last race,
I'm double checking this.
he finished
Did
like
pod
3,
research for like the 7
He-
billionth time.
He finished 3 laps down. I just know just because we talked about it, and they wouldn't let him back on the track after because of the spot where he went off.
Hold on, I'm double checking. It's not that I
But,
don't believe you. I'm just
After Stingray's wreck, we saw another restart, which led to another scary crash.
This one involving both Graham Rahal and Devlin DeFrancesco.
The second year in a row.
But
Yeah.
if I had a nickel for every time Devlin DeFrancesco wrecked Graham Rahal at Texas, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it's happened more than once. But this time was different. This time, I don't really think
Dev hit the
it wasn't
wall.
Dev's fault. It wasn't Dev's fault.
Dev hit the wall and then was trying to stay down, and this same thing happened.
No,
The
'cause-
suspension-
Yeah, he was trying to go to the pits.
No, because to me, it looked like he was going to keep going because I don't think he realized something was wrong with the suspension. And he got to turn 3 and turned in, and he realized something was wrong, and then tried to take it off the track. And then it was too late, and he couldn't slow it down, and then came back on the track, and then that's when Graham hit him.
Yeah,
'Cause, like,
I think he
like-
noticed something was wrong. I think he tried going to the pits, and it just got worse, and he just went straight. It was the opposite of the Stingray incident.
Pretty much, yeah.
But
Luckily, both of those drivers were okay as well.
both the drivers are okay. Graham Rahal sort of went airborne. The car left the ground, maybe only by a few inches. Yeah. Still airborne, still potentially scary.
And he wasn't like mad at all, which was surprising. For
If
Rahal.
if this car was from 10, 15 years ago, he might have left the fence.
He would have Mike Conway'd that thing. He would have.
It would have been
yeah.
rough. And thank IndyCar for its safety. It's
crazy
so
to look
safe.
at literally the exact same crash less than 10 years ago with Joseph Newgarden comparing to this one. Pretty much the same crash.
And then after this, it just got so interesting. The last 60 laps, if you haven't watched this race, please go back and watch it. This thing was beautiful. There were so many different strategies playing into it. There were pretty much 7-8 contenders for the last 60 laps of this. Every caution that happened just would reset the field. The strategy would get changed. I can't say anything more. Watch this race. Watch this race. This is a sheer masterclass in what a good race is. And
so, my opinion, when are we gonna work the third lane in at Texas now? So,
dude, I don't know. I think
that would be the only way that this would top like another Texas race in at least recent history, not necessarily like before the reconfiguration, at least in recent history. I think that would be the only way that you would top this race, in my opinion.
And some of them were trying. Towards the end, some of them were trying.
Yeah.
I agree.
It's not out of the question.
Yeah, for sure. So,
is it still a little risky? Yes. It's not out of the question. But towards the end of this race, it was pretty much like a 5-man battle, I would say.
I'd give it 6.
Yeah, 5 or 6. It was mainly between Joseph Newgarden, Pato O'Ward, Alex Palou, who was on way older tires and still was able to contest with everybody. How that man did it, I will never know. With those big boys, you get David Malukas, who we know is great on ovals. People seem to forget that because people were losing their minds seeing this small team contend for the win.
Yeah.
Against the biggest boys of the big boys. And all I'm saying, if David Malukas is not on your radar, if he's not on your radar, what are you doing? Yeah. David Malukas has ovals down really early.
In my opinion,
he's putting the 18
for the 500
in contention. He's putting the 18 in contention at ovals. Every oval, you need to be on watch. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. He's going to get his first win on an oval.
Mm-hmm.
He is so good. I know we're biased because he's our boy. He is an Indy Boys OG, but if you are not paying attention to him, start. But then, basically, the only other person outside of those 4 that was really in contention, in my opinion, was Romain Grosjean, who was very much fighting for the lead. I think he got a taste of what victory almost tastes like, and he wants to taste victory. It doesn't matter where, it doesn't matter what type of track. He didn't care if it was Texas Motor Speedway. He wanted that first win, and he was fighting for it. When Romain Grosjean fights for a win, he's either going to get that win, or it's gonna go terribly wrong. And
he's gonna get that win. I don't think
when he goes for
a race in a while.
when he goes for wins, it either goes pretty well and he gets a podium finish, or he's wrecking himself. And we got the second option. He got a little too close to David Malukas and ended up hitting the wall, which with about 2 or 3 laps to go, they threw the yellow. The race was over. It finished that way. So the race ended, top 10 being Joseph Newgarden, Pato O'Ward, who has finished second twice in a row. He is the points leader. Third place was Alex Palou. Fourth place, barely missing out of the podium, David Malukas. Fifth place, Scott Dixon. He's always there. Sixth place, Scott McLaughlin. Seventh place, Colton Herta. Eighth place, Marcus Ericsson. Ninth place, Callum Ilott on an oval? That's interesting. And then 10th place, it's an oval. Elio Castroneves is going to be somewhere there.
Yep.
This race had everything. And
for the second race in a row, it had everything. Talk about that.
Dude, IndyCar is built different. IndyCar is built different.
That needs to be the slogan, is just built different.
Yeah, I don't need no defy everything. I just need IndyCar. It's built different. That's all I need, because that's really what it is. It's so good. It's so different than everything else. But I do have a few questions for you guys.
What's up? Let's hear
First question. Do you think the success of this race should lead to more ovals in future IndyCar seasons? And if so, which tracks would you like to return or debut for the first time?
Yeah.
Richmond for one. Richmond needs to go back on the schedule. Milwaukee, and IRP. Those are my three.
My three I'll go with are Chicagoland, New Hampshire,
New Hampshire.
and
Do you know where would be cool?
Michigan.
Dover. Oh, Michigan, easily. Dover would be sick.
Mm.
A
Yeah, Dover
monster.
would actually be kind of cool.
Yeah, for me, I think I gotta go Michigan, Milwaukee, and I know this is a controversial opinion because I get why they're not there.
Don't say
I
Las
do get
Vegas.
it.
Don't say
Las
Las
Vegas.
Vegas.
I
Don't say
you
Las
could do
Vegas.
Las Vegas. I know. I know.
Don't say Las Vegas.
IndyCar will never return.
I understand, but Connor Daly had a very good take on this. He said the reason Las Vegas happened, as it did, the cars weren't safe enough. They have
And
for
the drivers
past
didn't respect
over
each
10
other either.
years. For the
Dude,
past 10 years,
Cars
they
are-
have.
Go
Hold on, let me finish. I agree. I said it's controversial. I don't think they necessarily will. I would like to see it something like this happen. The cars are so much more protected than they were. The drivers know this. I would say the drivers know that things like these happen. I would like to see them attempt it. I understand why they most likely won't. I'm not saying that that's a bad decision or good decision. I'm just saying I would like to see more ovals. Would that be a potential one? Maybe. Who knows?
Yeah,
I understand they likely will never race there. Completely get it. Completely understand. I would just like to see them try things differently.
And I mean, if you look at that day at Las Vegas as well, kind of touching on what Connor said, like it also comes down to the respect of each driver as well and how they respect each other racing wise. And that day there was, I'm pretty sure there's already a big crash before what eventually happened anyway. So I don't know about Las Vegas, but I would like to see more ovals. Yes.
Mhm. Yeah, I
think
understand.
Las Vegas is kind of a,
If it wasn't
Hard.
going away, I would like to see them go back to Auto Club.
I agree.
Auto Club would be sick. Yeah.
Hard to
the
say
last race-
now, but
The last race at Auto Club for IndyCar was pretty spectacular when Ray Hall brought that one home. But
Yeah.
and then I really think the only one outside of Las Vegas that's out of question, like they probably won't, would be Pocono, just because.
definitely
of,
with Wickens.
Yeah,
I
the
think-
Wickens incident and how safe that track really is
Yeah.
because the Vegas incident, I think you could mostly put the blame on the respect of the drivers and the safety of the car first and foremost.
But also the cars
Pocono-
are way too fast for that track.
Yeah, I also agree with that. Pocono, I think, is just a track safety thing. I just don't think that track is built well enough for things like that happening. But I'm glad I got to hear your guys' opinions on that, and I think it is a very interesting talking point that we will be hearing for the seasons. to
Also
come.
Homestead.
I also agree with Homestead. I already asked you guys about the Kirkwood Rossi incident. Next one. This is an interesting one. Should IndyCar have green-white checkered overtime? There was a lot of discussion, people not being happy that it ended under yellow. I want to hear your guys' opinion with this. I assume you guys are going to have the same opinion as I do.
And
But yeah,
no.
It would have led to danger. It would have led to chaos. It would have led to not having respect for the. It would have led to every driver in the top 10 trying to go for the win because a couple drivers probably would have taken the wave around. It would have been bad. And I'm as much as I like seeing races go to the checkered flag, this race should not have restarted after Grosjean's crash.
yeah,
for sure.
I agree.
Grosjean
think-
had already hit hard, and everyone was kind of already worried about how Grosjean was because he had a hard hit. He hit in the same spot Stingray hit. So, I mean, the focus should have been on him.
Wait, but aren't these the same people that were just complaining about green white checkers in NASCAR last week?
Yeah, that's also part of my take. Cautions breed cautions. If you have one overtime, people are going to crash more.
Yeah.
It's just how it is. My thing,
I'm glad that
IndyCar does not need gimmicks. IndyCar does not need gimmicks.
No.
It is perfect as it is.
It was perfect.
Like, I'm sorry, IndyCar does not need gimmicks. I know NASCAR has these gimmicks. F1's trying some gimmick things. IndyCar doesn't need to replicate that. They're fine how they are. The racing of IndyCar is not the problem with IndyCar. Like, that's just the fact.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you guys share what should be the only opinion about this.
Yeah. No, for sure. I agree 100%.
And then last little question. I know I did this last year, right after Texas. I said, or maybe it wasn't after Texas. Maybe it was after the first race. But 2 races in, what is your hot take or takeaway so far in the season? This could be a hot take prediction. It could just be something that's just an observation over the past 2 races. What do you guys want to get off your chest?
I think David Malukas is going to stay top 10 in points the whole season.
Okay.
I don't think he'll ever fall out. I think he's going to stay 9th to 10th the entire season. Right now he's in 6th, but I think he will start 9th to 10th the entire. Or I think that's where he'll be. That's just me.
I touch standings on my IndyCar app, and it just crashes. That's great. I appreciate that, IndyCar.
Good job, NTT. Joking. Yeah.
Bro, even if I go to like the link of it, what the heck?
Do you want me to pull the standings up for you, Joe?
I've got them up.
I'm typing them in right now on my phone. I got it. Mine's gonna be more of a points thing, so, I guess mine is probably that. Maybe that I might be wrong with my championship prediction of Colton Herta.
Really?
Yeah. He's 11th in points, and I don't know. He's not Colton Herta like we've seen in the past, in my opinion.
Hey, he looked good on the oval, and he normally doesn't look good on ovals.
Yeah, but like that didn't last super long though, because he wasn't up at the front at the end.
He finished top 10.
Well, I know, but he wasn't like in that pack battling for the lead.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
Fair.
I mean, wasn't he a couple laps down too?
No, he was on the lead lap.
Okay.
Yeah.
He was running like 6th or 7th most of the race.
But yeah, I don't know. I think I might be wrong about my Colton Herta championship prediction. That's my take.
Yeah.
Right there. So
I think my take. I'll be honest. I know I said Scott McLaughlin was the championship. Like he was my prediction. The reason I didn't put Pato Award was because I didn't know if Arrow McLaren could handle 3 cars. This is Pato's championship to lose.
yeah,
This is Pato's championship to lose.
Yeah.
And I know none of us said Pato as our champion, but Pato.
I think the highest we had him was 2nd or 3rd.
I had him 2nd.
Yeah, I think I had him either 2nd or 3rd.
I can't remember.
I almost put him as my championship at the beginning of this year.
I had him behind Newgarden.
But it's his championship to lose, in my opinion. I know we're only 2 races in. It's hard to say that definitely. I think he looks phenomenal. Alexander Rossi looks pretty good. He's 9th in points despite having the really weird stuff happen this race. And so I know sample size. And I know, only 2 races in, worth noting, Felix Rosenqvist is 25th in points.
He's had 2 DNFs. He's had 2 DNFs.
I know.
Though. Kirkwood's had 2 DNFs too, and he's, 20th in points?
Kirkwood is 20th, yeah.
By the way, you guys have Pato both 3rd, and I have him 4th.
Oh, 3rd.
No,
okay.
really? Oh,
Yeah.
I was gonna say I thought I had him 3rd, but I originally my first draft I had him winning. It's just worth noting. I don't know. And don't count out Hunko's Tollinger Racing. I know I'm not saying they're gonna win the championship.
He's leading the rookie points right now.
Callum Ilott is 7th in points.
Yeah.
Augustine Canapino is 12th in points.
Yeah.
Stop calling them the smallest team in IndyCar.
Mm-hmm.
They're
If anything, nowadays that's Steelcoin Racing is the smallest team in IndyCar. I'm just saying.
Yeah. It's
You could even call Meyer Shank Racing the smallest team in IndyCar nowadays.
and even those teams are far from the worst.
True.
Far from the worst. I mean, let's be real.
It's AJ Foyt Racing.
It's Foyt and it's Ray Hall.
True.
I know it was just an oval performance, and that Graham and Lundgaard are 13th and 14th. But oof,
Lundgaard was nowhere to be seen. Harvey qualified terrible, and Ray Hall was kind of
they
running.
all qualified terrible.
And Ray Hall was kind of running 12th the whole day. So like,
I don't think he ever got that high.
I mean, Dev was running.
They were all in the 20s.
Where
pretty
was
much.
Dev running the whole day? Dev was
Actually running like
Dev was running
like,
8th, right?
between like 10 and 15.
Yeah, he
I
wasn't
saw him.
bad.
I saw him running as high as 8th, right?
Yeah, I think he was up to like 8th or 9th. But he was having a good day up until his crash. My last hot take. Devlin DeFrancesco has actually looked solid in the one race that we've seen him in this season. His points, I don't think, reflect what he's done.
He's
28th in points. Yeah. He's behind Ed Carpenter, who's only run one race, which Devlin has DNF'd both races. I don't think either were his fault. I mean,
yeah,
he got airborne the first one. That's not his fault.
Yeah.
Second one, this wasn't his fault. He was trying to fix an error. The error happened. He couldn't. I really don't think we can blame him for these finishes. I know it's a really easy thing to blame Devlin. Really easy last year. I'm not ready to do that this season.
Yeah.
He seems to be improving. I'm excited to see where it goes. But that's all I got for IndyCar. Top 10 in points. Right before we go, Pato Award leading the championship, Marcus Ericsson second, Scott Dixon third, Joseph Newgarden fourth, Alex Palou fifth, David Malukas is sixth, Callum Manilot seventh, Scott McLaughlin eighth, Alexander Rossi ninth, Will Power 10th. Some notable big names that are outside of the top 10, Colton Herta is 11, Roman Grosjean is 15th, Kyle Kirkwood 20th. So that's about it on the big names that I think are not where they're expected to be.
Right.
All right, let's go to predictions.
Alrighty. Last week, we had a full weekend. The only two people to get points this past weekend were Daniel and I. Daniel got a point for picking Max Verstappen to win the Australian Grand Prix, and I got a point for Joseph Newgarden winning at Texas. But other than that, we all did kind of bad, so... But the points total now is Tristan with 4. Me and Daniel both have 3 at a piece. So, yeah. And we got our group pick wrong with Rosenquist, clearly. So, there's that. But let's go ahead and this week.
There was a point for the poll. Just saying.
You said what?
I said if there was a point for the poll.
Oh, yeah. But, yeah. Let's go ahead and let's talk about some Bristol dirt.
All right, guys, we're going dirt racing. Only 2 races this weekend. Trucks and Cup. Xfinity has the week off. Truck Series, you can pull up those starter sheets because there's a lot of one-offs this weekend at the Bristol Dirt. I, however, am going to be picking a guy that's full-time, and I'm going to be saying he goes back-to-back. Give me Hocevar. He was really good here last season until he was passed on the last lap by Ben Rose. And so I could see it happening. But give me Hocevar.
All right. Daniel.
As intrigued as I am by all the one-offs, I'm going to have to hit the default button and just go Zane Smith. It's hard to go against him pretty much anywhere.
Yeah, that's... But you know what? This guy, we talked about him a little bit. I'm going to go with the main man, Nick Sanchez.
Hey.
So, yeah. Now,
I like it. Cup. Okay, Cup Series, Bristol Dirt. I'm picking 2 guys that are good at dirt. First guy I'm picking, TR. Give me the Tyrannosaurus Rex, Tyler Reddick. That's my first pick.
Should have won last year.
Should have won it last year. Second pick, I'm going with Christopher Bell.
Okay.
The right Bell.
Okay.
However, he's not been good at this race in the Cup Series, but I can see it happening. Those are my 2 picks.
All right, Daniel.
First pick, I'm going the guy that shouldn't have won last year, but he tried to. Chase Briscoe. Second pick. Do I want to go someone that I think would just give me easy points, or do I want to throw out a curveball?
You said Chase Briscoe, right, for your first one?
Yes.
Okay.
as much as I would like to go just an easy answer that could get me points with like Alex Bowman, I might go wild card Ryan Preece.
Oh, okay. Ryan Priest in the 41. Okay, interesting.
Priest isn't in the 41. Oh wait, never mind. I'm sorry.
Yes.
I'm still on the truck. I'm still on the truck. I'm sorry.
You're good.
Actually,
I'm so confused.
actually, no. Give me Bowman. I take it back. Give me Bowman.
Okay.
Give me Bowman. I remembered Stuart Haas. It's not been great, and I know I already picked Chase Briscoe. I'm not going 2 Stuart Haas cars.
Yeah, I don't
was
blame
about to
you. I don't blame you at all. But
If
my
it
pick-
happens, can I get like half a point? But I just don't feel confident enough.
Nah. Nah. But my picks, I'm gonna go with Joey Logano as my first pick, and your last year's winner off of default, Kyle Busch.
Can our group pick the Vamos Amigo?
Daniels, what is?
Extremely valid.
That's actually a really good pick because he's pretty good here, actually.
Mhm.
Arguably should
Out
have
of
won in
nowhere for some
2021.
reason.
Arguably should have won in 2021.
He arguably should have. All right,
So-
back to the main screen. Thanks for watching, Indy Boys, guys. We had a really fun show today. A little bit of a longer show, but thanks for sticking with us throughout the whole thing. You can follow us on all of our social medias at Indy Boys Podcast. Our personal social medias are down below. Shout outs to Marion, Phoenix, and Siren. Shout out to Burnout Sports. You can check out all of our content on there. Live on the Marion Phoenix. I'm sorry, not the Marion Phoenix. Live on the Marion Siren on Thursdays at 2 o'clock. For Tristan Grider, Daniel Cheney, and Justin Cox. Have a good one, guys. Peace.